Hey everybody, welcome back to Jackson Jet Setting. Today I'm taking you to Great Stirrup Cay, which is NCL's private island in the Bahamas. You may have this island on your next itinerary on board an NCL ship, so I did want to give you a full comprehensive tour of the island, including a full review of the zipline experience, which is one of the only major activities on this island. As of early 2025, this is still a tender port, which is a major downside to this island compared to other private islands that cruise lines operate, though they are building a pier, which I'll show you some of the construction progress on this tender ride over to Great Stirrup Cay. Regardless, I would plan ahead if you're taking a Norwegian ship over to Great Stirrup Cay and try and get on one of the earlier tender boats. I will say that the island does operate the tender boats, and they're pretty high capacity, so I think Norwegian did a decent job considering everything, but with two ships in port on my day, I could see some of the lines growing in the middle part of the day when people are trying to get on shore for all the sun and lunch. One positive of a tender ride is you get some great views of the ship that you're on, so I was on board the Norwegian Joy for this day and just had some amazing views of the ship. I absolutely love the look of this ship, and it's really fun just to pull away and see how big of a vessel that you're actually sailing on your vacation. Now, Great Stirrup Cay is not located too far away from home ports in Florida. It's in the Bahamas, right next door to Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. You'll see the Royal Caribbean ships in there from Great Stirrup Cay, which is kind of funny. Been there many times. You can check out a full tour of Coco Cay on the channel. It's about a 10-minute ride once your tender starts making its way to the island. We'll say it does take a little bit of time to load up the vessel, especially on shore coming back. You can see some of the construction for the pier right here, so that should be done in late 2025. They do have a little bit more to go for sure, but it should be able to dock two different NCL ships at the same time, which will put it competitively with Coco Cay, which can also handle two of those at the same time. So they did make a little cut into the island to create a safe harbor for these tender ships. And so you make your little windy path into here, and then there's a small harbor that you disembark. The arrival experience once you do get to the island is very organized. I really liked the look of everything. And unload is very quick because they have built this for moving a lot of people off of the ship as quickly as possible. So getting off the tender is pretty quick. It's just getting on board and then getting back onto your ship that seems to take a little bit of time. That's why I always like to have a dock if possible when on some of these larger ships. If you're on one of the smaller NCL ships, you may not have as big of an issue, but Norwegian Joy is one of NCL's largest ships, so it does get a little busy. But a beautiful welcome area here, very tropical feeling, very manicured, so I loved that NCL did this. They have definitely put a lot of money into this island, especially with the competition next door, because you can see a lot of the investment that Royal Caribbean has made right next door with their water parks and different beaches. So from the get-go, I would say that Great Stirrup Cay is not supposed to be Coco Cay in terms of size. It's a much smaller island, and it's much more laid back, which I think is definitely a pro for a lot of people. But some of the people that may be looking at the private water park over there may be longing for a little bit more to do on this island. But I was excited to see exactly what was going on here. Lots of different excursions that you can do throughout the day. They had snorkeling, they had kayaks, stand-up paddle boards. And of course, there is an included lunch from 11:30 until 2 p.m. each day on shore. So definitely a reason to get off the ship is you have free lunch on shore, a little grilled food action. We'll check out a full review of that in just a moment. But as we're walking through this welcome area, I was surprised to see a Starbucks coffee little trolley bike here, which is really cool. They definitely have a lot of Starbucks options on Norwegian ships, so I did like all of that. If you're a Starbucks fan, you will be well taken care of here. But the island itself, in terms of beach activities, is one pretty long beach that's open to everyone, and then a cove called Silver Cove, which is open to just guests that have bought a cabana or that experience for the day. I did not buy that experience for the day, so I won't be able to show you that. But I will take you as far as I can as a public guest up until the gate that separates the Silver Cove from the rest of the guests. But the first beach that you'll come across is called Infinity Beach. This is going to be closest to most of the bars and restaurants on the island. It's going to be the most popular as a result as well. They have a swing that swings out into the water that is a very popular spot for photos that I'll show you in just a bit as well. And you can rent floating mats for the day right here. Cabana rentals do include up to 4 floating mats, so that's a nice inclusion there. And here's our first view of the main landmark on Great Stirrup Cay. This is the lighthouse. So the lighthouse is going to be a big focal point of activity if you are doing one of the zipline tours. I did the comprehensive zipline tour that included both courses on the island. There's 2. I recommend doing 2. It cost me about $159 per person to do it. It took about an hour, so not a very long tour by any means, but it does give you 2 chances to fly over the over-ocean zip lines. Both courses have that aspect to it, which is nice, but one is going to be a little bit more active than the other, so if you have some mobility requirements or challenges of maybe climbing up a few different rope obstacles, you may want to choose the Osprey course versus the Seahawk course. I did both, and they were both a lot of fun. Right now we're walking through the Bacardi bar, which I really thought was cool. Full branded Bacardi bar right here on the ocean. Of course, a very popular spot later in the day. After I shot this video, they have a DJ booth going on, so loud music and lots of dancing and fun. Does get quite busy, so get those drinks a little early if you want to get your day started. But nice photo op with the ship in the background. Not my ship, that was actually the Norwegian gem that was also in port with us. So did get quite busy because of that. 2 ships here on the island. Plenty of places for people to roam around. But I did feel like there weren't enough different food stands and bars to kind of handle the mass of people. Just my opinion there. But I did love the look of the Bacardi bar. Loved all the little Instagram moments for people. And they had delicious drinks. I was able to try a handshake and daiquiri, and it was very authentic and very delicious. If you don't know, a lot of people live on the island and help operate a lot of the activities on the island, and then the ships bring in a lot of the bartenders to help with the serving. So you may notice a bartender from your ship working on shore. Be nice to the crew. They're amazing. They work really hard, and I know they always love a day here on shore. So we're going to make our way to the lighthouse right here and begin our full tour and review of the zipline experience here on Great Stirrup Cay. Again, probably the most popular option in terms of excursion on the island. They do have a swimming with the pigs excursion that is a little bit more expensive. It's off island, so I didn't do it for my first visit here, but I know that is a very popular excursion for people. So those are pretty much going to be the 2 that you're duking it out with. May be able to do both in a day if you're looking to do that. But you reserve a time when you book your excursion. I chose the earliest time possible, which was 9 a.m. And once you check in, sign some releases, they fit you in with a bunch of different harnesses. They give you a quick safety demonstration and how the zipline operates, though there are plenty of employees here helping you guide through the whole experience. You take a fun elevator ride that was pretty intimidating all the way up to the top of the lighthouse, and you have definitely the best views of the island from up here. So I think for that alone, the excursion is definitely worth it. The views on this day, a beautiful day in the Bahamas, I loved that. Apologies for the little shakiness, but I was shooting this on the GoPro. You can bring a GoPro with you. I had it mounted on my wrist, but they do have some helmet mounts as well. And if you forget your GoPro or have ever wanted to try one out, you can rent it from them for an extra charge. So we're doing the Seahawk zipline first. So this is a number of different zip lines that starts from the very top of the tower and then flies over Lighthouse Beach, which is the second beach, and we haven't shown you that on the ground yet, but you'll get a little preview of it on this part of the video. There were only 5 other people on the tour with me for most of the zipline experience, so it wasn't a long wait waiting for the zip lines. It was very efficient, which I liked. I went last, so I got to see everyone and all the chaos that ensued, but really a cool view here. Zip lines sometimes twist me around a little bit. I always kind of struggle with trying to keep myself steady here, but amazing views as you can see, and this is definitely the star of the show with the Seahawk zipline experience. Just an unbelievable view as you zoom over the water. 1,600 feet of ziplining, starting out at a height of 130 feet, so it's definitely a killer attraction. The other comparison I have from private island experiences or private destination experiences is Labadee, which is operated by Royal Caribbean. They have a pretty massive zip line there. I think the longest overwater zip line in the world, but this one was pretty fun. In between zip lines, you're taking your safety connection and wiring yourself through the course, which is pretty fun. And there's different nets and bridges that you have to cross on this zip line portion. So this was the first one to get to the next zip line. And it's definitely an experience. It was hard keeping the camera steady walking through this. It definitely shifts you left and right. So you're over the deck here, over the island, and you just still have these great views. So I really loved this experience. I think if you had to choose one, the Seahawk is definitely the best one to do, but both are really great. So at the top of the bridge here was zipline number 2. And this is Cabana Beach, appropriately named because there are beach cabanas here outside of Silver Cove that you can rent as a family. We'll show you those in just a bit. But a really nice, calmer zipline, I would say, over the smallest of the public beaches here at Great Stirrup Cay. So this gives you a good overhead view. As you can see, unbelievable water no matter where you go here. And then once we stepped off of that zipline was the most intense part of the experience in terms of physical exertion. You actually disconnect from the safety wires and you got to do this netted climb up to the next zip line. That was pretty fun. So if you're afraid of heights, this is maybe one part of the experience that you will not like because you're not buckled in at all, which I thought was pretty cool. Another netted bridge to get over to the next zip line. And this will drop us off right back at the lighthouse, which I think was pretty clever. No need to walk all the way from one side of the island back in all of your harness gear and have to maybe remove the harness and put it back on for the next part of the experience. It was all very well done. As you can see, there's twin zip lines in this portion because the other zip line is a part of the Osprey course that I'll do in just a second. And so this will take us back across Lighthouse Beach and then just right back and take the elevator back up to the top of the tower to start our next adventure. So you can see lots of beach chairs here, several different rows to fit everyone. This is about 9:30 in the morning, so most of the ship is still asleep. But a quick disconnect and a quick ride up the freight elevator in the lighthouse. I think the scariest part of this experience was honestly the freight elevator because there's no windows or anything like that. So if you are claustrophobic, maybe ask to walk up the stairs or something like that. But once you get to the top, you have great views. And this part is pretty cool because you do twist up the tower a little bit. So you have some pretty intense views of Infinity Beach and Lighthouse Beach, as well as your ship. Only a part of my tour, we're doing both zip lines today, so there's maybe 4 people with me on this portion of the zip line. A good quick look at what we just did, so it drops you off all the way at the other end of the island. But now we are going to start our first zip line here on the Osprey course. So as you can see, a shorter zip line to start, not nearly as intense as the first one over on the Seahawk course. But bottom line, both zip lines are giving you a great view of the island. And you can see on this one, I didn't quite make it to the end, so I had to pull myself over to the guide there. But that sets us up for zip line number 2, which takes us over the cabanas on Lighthouse Beach and ends up over on the tower close to Cabana Beach. Zipline number 3 was next, and that dropped me right back off at the lighthouse. So this whole zipline course is a lot quicker than Seahawk. I'd say this is maybe a 15 or 20 minute experience versus maybe 30 minutes or so for the Seahawk experience. So if I were to choose one, Seahawk for sure, but I think doing both is great because you can kind of enjoy the view on the Osprey course a little bit more. That's definitely what I did. A little bit more relaxed, figured out the camera angles a little bit. So that is the zipline experience on Great Stirrup Cay. Right at the lighthouse, I noticed as a avid golfer is a real grass putting green. So bring your own balls. They do have some of those cruise line golf balls that are really just foam and not really all that great. So I'd bring your own golf balls. They do have putters for you as well. Another quick look at the tower. Of course, in kind of Disney fashion, the whole experience ends in a gift shop, so you do have some souvenirs of your time there. You can stop into the gift shop if you're not participating in the experience, you just want to check some things out. Guy Harvey painting the lighthouse there, so a nice little art exhibit to gander at, do like his art. Very tropical feel, always feels like I'm on a cruise when I see some of his art. But now let's continue our tour down Lighthouse Beach. You can see the first zip line that we took in our tour going over Lighthouse Beach there from the Seahawk course. So you are going to hear those people zipping by all day. It's really fun. I think just hanging out on the beach in a beach chair, everyone else having fun around you. It's a very relaxing environment here. There are some cabanas to rent for a price, fitting, pretty large groups. A little bit heightened service as well. You got a attendant that can help you get some food, and you never have to leave the cabana for the day. I do wish that they were over the water like over in Cocoa Key. Some options there. Though over in Silver Cove, there are a lot more options. There's even 1 and 2 bedroom villas, which is pretty unique and pretty special, I think. So definitely check those options out if you are in the market for that. But at the end of the beach is going to be another little area full of food and beverage. You're going to have the Lighthouse Beach Bar here, as well as the Tropic Like It's Hot food truck. So a different menu here than the rest of the island. You're going to have some ceviches, some pork and fish sandwiches, things like that. There's also some much needed shade in this area. Lots of palm trees planted, plenty of picnic chairs and benches just to kind of get a more relaxed meal going on here. Some showers if you're coming in off the beach and want to shower up, get all that salt off. But here's a look at the taco truck, as well as a look at the menu. So a lot of different options here. The line was a little long when I walked by a little later, and it wasn't quite open during this video, so I wasn't able to sample some of the options here, but I did like that Bahamian rum cake option. Some restrooms here as well, and then the Lighthouse Beach Bar. So this is our on-the-ground view of the Cabana Beach. So another smaller cove here, might be a little bit more protected if it's a wavy, windy day. These cabanas seem to be a little bit more chill, not on a heightened look over the beach, so I don't know if these are going to be more popular or not just because of that, but they are going to be further away from a lot of the hubbub of the island, so you may find a little bit more relaxed day over here. And then at the end of the beach here is the entrance to Silver Cove, so wasn't able to show you in there, but I was able to sneak a little peek of the beach. So the zipline does take you across one of Silver Cove's coves. Inside Silver Cove, there's a Moe themed bar. There's a special restaurant just for them. So you really do not have to leave that area, and I doubt that you will, considering the price that you're paying for that area on the day. There is a spa in Silver Cove by Mandara Spa, which sponsors the spa on board the ship as well. So if you're looking for a spa treatment on the island, that might be a great way to do it. So now let's start our walk back towards the main area and the ship. Show you a few more things as well as lunch on the island. But here's a look at Cabana Beach, Lighthouse Beach, and then Infinity Beach all the way down there. So a pretty large stretch of beach here. A little rocky on this side, but overall just powdery white sand that is just amazing feeling on the toes, very relaxing. Overall, I do think that this island is a great stop for just a typical beach day. It's a good, relaxed, low-key day on your vacation. You may have some more active ports on your itinerary, so I do think they do a good job here. I know that they're going to be putting more investment into this island once they add that pier to compete with the neighbors next door, so we'll see what that brings in the future. There's a lot of the island that's not developed. It's actually quite a large island, so I'm excited to see what they do with the place in the coming years, because it does have all the essentials, which is great weather, great water, and great sand. Back on Lighthouse Beach, there are a few different activities on the beach, like beach volleyball. That's going to be in between Lighthouse Beach and Infinity Beach. Takes you over to the Infinity Beach section, which has all the action going on. Another look at the patio of the Bacardi bar from the beach. There's a paddleboard rental right on the beach as well. This is a great option here. I think they have really nice protected coves here from the waves, so perfect for paddleboarding. I really do like that about this island. I think it's a definite improvement over much of Cocoa Key next door, is that you just don't have a ton of waves and you have a real ocean feel here. A lot of Cocoa Key has been kind of constructed, I think. So while it's got water coming in, there's not like a clear ocean view looking out. So I think they did a really good job here. Kalik Beer Bar right on the beach as well. Of course, they have a full option menu of different drinks at each one of the bars. You don't have to just get a Bacardi or a Kalik beer. They have the full bar there. And your drink package from the ship does work on shore, which is really great. Patron Tequila stand was a very popular one a little later in the day. It's going to be right next to some beach chess, which I liked. Fun to have that option there. And then you can see the overwater swings that are so popular even early in the morning here. A couple of different snorkel stands right here at the nexus of where you can get on and off the island and the end of Infinity Beach. If you take a little spur path over to the left, once you exit the tenders, you can find the local straw market. So plenty of local vendors with some quote-unquote real souvenirs from the Bahamas. So if you're looking to kind of do some shopping, bring some cash. They only accept cash. So I stopped by Jumbie Beach Grill for some food. This is in the main area of the island right next to Infinity Beach. A decent line, not crazy, but it did take a while for people to get through a pretty simple buffet. Here's a look at the menu here. A little bit of a Caribbean barbecue action going on. You do have some burgers and hot dogs and some honestly not so delicious looking pizza. Some salad options as well. Overall, I didn't really feel like the food quality here was all that great compared to other island experiences that I've had. Tried the burger, tried some of the chicken. Overall, just not all that great. If you're ready to step off the island, they hand you a nice cool towel waiting in line to get back on board. This line can get kind of crazy later in the day, so I would either just hang out on the beach, they're not going to leave you until the very last tender, or maybe plan an earlier exit. My tip is to kind of get here early and leave a little bit early. But getting on the tenders is pretty easy from the island. It's just getting off that takes a while because it is just one small gangway to get back on the ship, and there's waves and things going on, so you do have to clear security once you get back on the ship, so it does take a little bit of time. So I know that this pier that they're building is going to be a major improvement on the whole guest experience here, so I'm glad that they're investing over $100 million into that. But really nice views. Overall, I really had a great day here on the island. My thoughts are it is definitely not Coco Cay, but it's not trying to be necessarily. I think that they're going to put in a lot of effort into this island in the coming years to maybe make it like Coco Cay. But there are enough things to have an amazing day, especially with this great weather. You have a perfect beach, number of different beaches actually, with plenty of beach chairs for multiple ships coming in. I do think that they need a few more bars, maybe a few more bartenders to be able to handle drink orders a little bit more quickly and improve some of the food options on shore. We were here from about 9 a.m. until 4 p.m., so plenty of time on an island for a beach day. I had a great time. I would definitely return. I think that it's a nice add-on to your trip. It's maybe not something to book specifically for your vacation, unlike Coco Cay, which seems to be a destination unto itself right now. So overall, great day on shore at Great Stirrup Cay. Thanks a lot for watching.